A recently settled planet under a distant sky, a world full of potential. Its woodlands shimmered, a mosaic of hues not found on Earth. Trees glowed beneath the twin suns, and blooms appeared on every surface. The shimmering dew on their petals gleamed like diamonds. A faint sweetness lingered in the air, carried gently by a light breeze. Streams of glistening water weaved through grasslands that swayed in soft purples and blues, colors that had no earthly match. I had never seen anything like it before. This planet had the potential to become a paradise. The colonists, engineers, scientists, adventurers, were a varied collection. They had only been here for a few short months, yet already every day brought fresh insights, a deeper understanding of their new home. Everyone was in good spirits, busy constructing habitats, research facilities, and preparing for the slow but inevitable expansion of this untapped frontier. There was a shared sense of purpose, unity, a bond forged through the common goal of establishing humanity's place in this strange, beautiful world. And then, brief and unexpected, the sky darkened. Elegant shapes with an alien design appeared overhead. There was a pause, a held breath, a tense hush before the assault began. The colony was struck by the Zealer like a storm. Their ships advanced swiftly, lethal, precise. Energy beams pierced the sky, vaporizing the earth. Everything the colonists had built over months was reduced to rubble in mere seconds. There was no time to respond, no time to even comprehend what was happening. Buildings crumbled. Screams echoed. Panic erupted. Colonists fired back, but it was futile. Their rifles, their rockets, their bullets, nothing could breach the Zealer energy shields. Human defenses collapsed instantly under the alien assault. The colony was helpless. Worse, Earth was silent. During the attack, communication satellites were destroyed or jammed. All contact with the outside world was cut off. Isolated, stranded on an alien planet, the colonists had no way to call for help. The Zealer showed no mercy. Their weapons were unlike anything known. Their assault was relentless. The colonists had only one choice: escape. They fled into the woods that surrounded the settlement. Towering trees with thick, broad trunks loomed overhead, their leaves casting the forest into dark shadows. The jungle was dense, green, so dark it was almost black. But it was shelter. Behind them, the sounds of destruction roared, ships humming, energy crackling, and the final cries of those left behind. But the woods offered no safety. Supplies were low. The colonists had only what they could grab during the escape: a few medical kits, food, and a handful of weapons, laughably insufficient against what they had just faced. Still, they moved forward, deeper into the trees. A small group gathered in a clearing, faces pale, eyes grim. There was no contact with Earth, no reinforcements, no way out. Captain Malik, their leader, tried to stay calm. He ordered silence, ordered movement. They had to keep going. But everyone knew the truth: they were alone. They were being hunted. Among them was Dr. Elena Vasquez, crouched in the brush, staring at the others. The truth hung in the air like smoke: supplies low, communications severed, hunted by a powerful alien force. But she was a scientist, and even now she was sure of one thing: they had to turn this disaster to their advantage. She remembered something. Days before, during a routine analysis, she'd seen alien blasts strike a grove of trees. But the trees didn't burn. The energy had dispersed, absorbed, redirected. She had thought it a coincidence. Now she saw it as a clue. She called her team: engineers, botanists, anyone with technical skill. They began testing the local wood, cutting samples. It was heavy, humming, almost metallic. Its cellular structure was like nothing on Earth. It absorbed energy, stored it, and with the right manipulation, could even release it in controlled bursts. A natural capacitor. They had a chance. It wasn't much, but it was something. They began crafting primitive blasters. Wooden, yes, but infused with this strange new potential. They scavenged what they could from wreckage, conductive metals, power cells, scraps of alien tech. Their first prototypes were clunky, barely functional, but every failure taught them something. Then came the breakthrough. When the wood was compressed, its energy storage capacity increased dramatically. Shields were crafted, heavy, but able to absorb incoming energy. They even learned to reflect it in bursts. The first successful test changed everything. A captured alien weapon fired at one of the shields. The energy was absorbed and then, moments later, discharged back in a controlled blast. It worked. Encouraged, they built more, refined the blasters, carved sleeker models, learned to bind the fibers, shape the weapons, improve the aim, shorten the recharge time. Still flawed, still unpredictable, but it gave them hope. They moved their work to a hidden forest workshop, built in silence, in secret, constantly on watch for alien patrols. Every day brought setbacks and breakthroughs. They learned to incorporate alien tech into their designs, enhancing efficiency, building better tools, crafting weapons that, despite their simplicity, might just be enough. And then the time came. The colonists, hiding at the edge of the woods, clutched their strange, humming blasters. Their hearts pounded, their eyes locked on the treetops. Zealer ships glided overhead like predators, confident, unafraid, arrogant. Why would they fear wooden weapons? The humans waited. Then they attacked. Energy crackled from the wooden blasters. The Zealer, caught off guard, reeled. Their laughter faded. Their confusion grew. These weren't primitive sticks, they were weapons. Shields absorbed fire, reflected it. The tide began to shift, and for the first time, the humans had a chance. Their aim was accurate with the wooden blasters. The aliens were unfazed by their commitment because when they first experienced dread, they undervalued their adversary. And now they were paying the price. In a matter of minutes, it was evident that the tide of battle had transformed. The extraterrestrial commander, recognizing that they were up against a far stronger foe than they had imagined, gave the directive to withdraw their forces. Bewildered and lost, they started to tumble back, shooting in all directions as they retreated. The humans defended with their hearts pounding from a combination of adrenaline and disbelief that they had actually done it. They had repelled the invaders. As the final extraterrestrial vessels departed in retreat, a cheer burst through the air. It was a minor victory for humanity, but still, it was the first. The first time they had won since the invasion. They finally had hope. They had demonstrated their ability to fight back. The aliens weren't invincible. They could be defeated. Far above, the extraterrestrial leaders sat in silence, the safety of their ships intact, but their thoughts racing. How had they been outwitted by such primitive methods? Using crude tools, the humans had exposed a flaw. The alien commanders played back the battle footage, analyzing, rewinding, trying to understand how their advanced forces had been vanquished by what appeared to be wooden weapons. It didn't make sense. They had always considered themselves superior, but humans had demonstrated otherwise. This sudden development caused a stir in alien ranks. Confidence gave way to skepticism, and then to fear. Humans were more inventive than they had anticipated, and now they possessed a weapon the aliens didn't, a weapon that would force them to reconsider everything. Back on their ships orbiting above, the alien commanders struggled to comprehend what they had seen. Their soldiers had fallen to what looked like sticks and primitive tools. It defied all logic. They, with their cutting-edge technology, had been defeated by people wielding wooden arms. But the commanders weren't convinced this was a fluke. No, they needed answers. They needed to uncover the secrets behind these enigmatic weapons. Spies were sent, recon drones hovered silently over the jungle, their sensors scanning for any sign of human activity, anything to explain this anomaly. Meanwhile, alien scouts moved through the undergrowth cautiously, wielding wooden tools themselves, hoping to study the humans up close, to understand what they had missed in their first assessment. But the humans were not idle. They knew their victory would not go unanswered. Dr. Vasquez and her team continued working in secret. In their hidden workshop, they experimented tirelessly. They tested different wood species, compared energy absorption and storage, looked for materials to improve their rudimentary shields and blasters. Metal components were added. The blasters grew more powerful. The shields became lighter, stronger. A layer of indigenous sap was discovered, enhancing conductivity, prolonging the blaster's charge, and increasing energy output. They shaped the shields in specific ways, redirecting and absorbing energy more precisely. Defense became offense. Every improvement made the weapons more effective. The aliens received the first reports from their scouts, vague descriptions, strange behaviors, blurry drone footage, but enough to confirm their fears. Humans had found something. The commanders decided on a new approach. This was no accident. The humans had found a resource, and now the aliens would seize control of it. They began planning a large-scale assault to take the forest and the source of the wooden weapons. But the humans were ready.